Hello there, and welcome to today's session on building your own no-code, low-code integrated sales stack. I am your host for today, Andrew Nicholson. A little bit about myself. I am the CEO and co-founder of Kulea.ma, Kulea Marketing Automation, that is. Kulea.ma is marketing automation built and designed for agencies, but we don't just do the technology, we also do the services wrapped around that technology, so prospecting, copywriting, integration, all those sorts of things. That's our bread and butter, and that's what we do day in, day out, which makes us suitably qualified to take this session today. On top of that, I'm also a guest lecturer at the University of Buckingham. I am one of the Timbre trainers for my sins. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Timbre today. I have a master's in digital marketing communications, and I'm an ex-B2B marketer or past B2B marketer of the year. So hopefully that establishes some of my credentials. And I am here today to talk to you and share the love for no code, low code. Now, first question I'm sure you're going to ask is, what on earth is no code, low code? So no code, low code is development platforms that use visual software. Now, according to this, I pulled this off Wikipedia. This is visual software development environments for enterprise developers and citizen developers to drag and drop application components, connect them together, and create mobile or web apps. Now, I've singled out a few words there. Drag and drop, love it. I am not a developer. I don't know my API for my HTML. Well, I know a little bit of HTML, but don't worry. I don't know an awful lot. I am the CEO and founder of marketing automation business. I am not a coder. So I need ways to connect things up which don't rely on me programming or coding or doing APIs or anything like that. I need simple things to do. I need simple ways of building sales stacks. And I'll come on to a stack in a second. I love that term, citizen developers. I love that term. What is a citizen developer? It makes us sound like something out of Brave New World, doesn't it? Well, I'm pretty sure that I do qualify as a citizen developer. I might not qualify as a developer, but I do as a citizen developer. By the end of today's session, if I've done my job right, hopefully you will be citizen developers too. Because to me, a citizen developer is someone who can pick up and build things without having to code things. Now, that's an important distinction. So why would you want to be a citizen developer? What's in it for you? Well, there's two reasons primarily. One, stacks are messy. And let me rewind on that one a little bit. Because the next question is, what's a stack? Well, a stack is the tools and technology you use to achieve a particular objective. Now, in agency world, that objective is let's get some sales, let's get some retainers, let's get some conversations. So essentially, what tools do you use to get a sale? Now, I can guarantee that there are a lot more tools in your stack than you actually think there are. And in fact, high-performing organizations, on average, have 14 tools in each stack. A cohesive customer experience, that's what a stack is. It offers a cohesive customer experience. Whilst low performers only have 7. So actually, the more technology, more tools you use, more likely you are to be a higher performing person, an organization. And then it comes down to the question of integrating those tools, because nobody wants 14 tools that don't talk to each other. That's a recipe for disaster. Oh my God, imagine that. But that's okay, because 93% of these high-performing organizations integrate their stacks. Now, there's 69% of them 69% of low performers that also integrate their stacks, because you have to integrate your stack. You can't have data silos everywhere. But that doesn't lead me to question what on earth 31% of low performers that aren't integrating their stacks are doing. Writing on the backs of beer mats, using Excel, using Outlook to manage their CRM. I don't know, but they're having a hell of a time, I'll tell you that much. And then the next point here is, High-performing organisations with sales teams are 1.5 times more likely to integrate marketing and sales technology. So let's dig into that one a little bit. High-performing organisation. What makes a high-performing organisation? Well, efficiency, effectiveness. It's not that high-performing organisations, everybody works 16 hours a day. That's not high-performing. High-performing is working smarter, not harder, which is why you need to integrate your stacks. You can save yourself hours, days a week by automating and integrating your technology. It's that simple. And that's really why I'm here today, to try and show you how to make your lives easier and more efficient using technology. And I'm also here to show you that it's not something to be scared of. It's not something that needs to be complex. It's actually something that even I can do. And I'm like I said, I'm not a coder. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Wait. Okay, so what do we mean? What do I specifically mean? Because we talked about what no code, low code means. But in my world, low code, no code generally means Zapier. Now, I accept that is a massive, massive oversimplification, and I apologize to every other piece of no code, low code software out there. And that includes anything from our own Kulea marketing automation platform through to things like Gmail rules. Anywhere where you can integrate, automate, place down rules without coding. That's essentially a no-code, low-code environment. But for the purposes of today's conversation, I'm mostly going to be talking about Zapier. Now, next question, whatever Zapier. So Zapier acts as a middleman. It passes data from point A to point B, from one tool to another tool. Zapier is the fixer that everybody knows, okay? And everybody's also happy to work with, because Zapier has an ecosystem of over 3,000 different apps that all talk to Zapier, and then Zapier can pass on these messages between these 3,000 apps. And here's a really good top tip for you. If your existing tool stack, if your existing technology stack doesn't have Zapier interconnectivity, if it doesn't work with Zapier, the chances are your tech stack's a bit crap. It's probably obsolete. And when you're looking to select tools to bring into your tech stack, always go onto Zapier.com and see if they already have an existing integration, because it's going to make your life a lot easier to connect all those dots and remove any data silos. Okay. So at the center of your stack sits your CRM. Now, that is your customer relationship management tool. You know that, obviously. And this could be Pipedrive, it could be Salesforce, it could be HubSpot CRM. Doesn't really matter which one it is. But this is where your sales activity sits, okay? This is where you schedule your one-to-one emails. This is where you schedule and potentially complete your phone calls, your day-to-day task list. All of that lives within your CRM. On top of that, it's also where your customer knowledge sits, your customer insight, your forecasting. All of that sits within your CRM. So it's critical. Your CRM is your business hub. It's your business brains, okay? And I repeat, I've said this many, many times before, Excel is not a CRM. Outlook is not a CRM. Google Sheets is amazing, but it's not a CRM. Okay, so around your CRM exists this whole kind of like ecosystem of complementary tools. Now, I've simplified this massively, and I have clicks.com because I took a lot of this from them, because these four bubbles actually encapsulate a lot of potential different technology. But let's walk through this. You have your website your website CMS, your content management system. Most likely it's WordPress, because WordPress is awesome. But whatever it is, it could be Wix, it could be some custom build you've got, doesn't matter. This also includes landing pages with lead magnets. It also includes blogs, data capture, forms, that sort of thing. So that all sits under the kind of category of CMS. Then down at the bottom, we've got your social media management. Now, this normally comes down to Hootsuite if you've got money, or Buffer if you don't, let's be honest. Then on the left, you've got your data sources, data coming into your CRM. It's either coming into your CRM, it's coming into your marketing automation. If you are a business developer and you're here at BD 100, or you're here at Winning Together, so you probably are, you're going to have LinkedIn Sales Navigator as a really, really core data source. This also includes any prospecting tools like Prospect.io or Get Prospect or Hunter. And it also includes data tools like Alf, who I know are doing another session simultaneously, Winmo, Cognizant, that sort of thing. These big data tools that send you data, those should all be part of your stack. And then finally, sitting at the top, up here, is that right? Yeah, up here, right at the top, that's your marketing automation platform, your MAP. And you can use this to manage all your outbound marketing communications, your campaigns. You can use it to nurture and qualify your leads. You can use it to personalize your web content. You can use it to do 1,000 different things that marketing automation actually does. And for this, there is only one platform, of course. It's Kulea Marketing Automation. It's the only marketing automation solution you need to be talking to or looking at. I'm joking, kind of. There's loads out there. Okay, so next question is then, what does Zapier do? Oh, actually, sorry. Next thing is wrapped in all of this, you have your analytics and your reporting. That's important as well because you need a feedback loop. You need to understand what's working, what's not, who's doing what. And these conversations need to be taking place. So your marketing automation platform needs to be pulling data from your CMS, needs to be personalizing content on your CMS. Your marketing automation platform needs to be pulling data from your CRM, pushing data back, taking data back from your CRM. Your data sources absolutely need to be feeding into your CRM. If they're coming out on Excel spreadsheets and getting lost, that's sacrilege. Don't do that. And again, social media needs to be feeding in. So all these things need to be connected and talking to each other. And they can't do that in what we call a best of breed solution like this one, unless you have a translator. You have that middleman. You have something like Zapier. Now, Zapier is not unique. There are other tools out there, but it is by far and away my favorite, and it is also by far and away the most popular globally. And Zapier, because it talks to these different tools, it takes this information, it translates it, it can enrich that data, it can transform that data from point A to point B, make it more useful, and I'll show you a little bit of that later as well. So Zapier is a really, really powerful tool. As Richard said in the chat, it is the glue that melds and binds your sales stack. Cool. Now, there's an or here, because that is a best of breed solution. And a best of breed solution is, what I'm talking about today, but some of you might be saying, well, yeah, that's great, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to connect it all with Zapier. I don't want 14 different tools. I want one tool that does it all. And yes, those tools do exist out there. Single vendor solution providers like Microsoft, Salesforce, obviously, Oracle, Adobe, they do have single solution platforms. Now, those platforms are great if you want a single point of contact, you want a single contract, and you want something that just does everything. Normally, that's kind of an enterprise level solution. They're not so great because costs are very high, quite often prohibitively high for these things. And you do end up paying for features and functionality that you don't need. If you sign up to Salesforce, the whole Salesforce suite, there's going to be loads of tools on there that you're paying for that end up sitting up on the shelf unused. The contract terms, big single solution provider will normally ask for 2-3 year contracts, 5-year contracts even. And that ties you in significantly. And the rollout for these things is very long and complex. You're talking 3 to 6 to 9 months to roll out. If anyone's been through a Salesforce setup, they are incredibly complex. You do generally require specialist consultants to come in and wire things up for you. Once those consultants have wired things out for you, those consultants are then the only people that can then configure your Salesforce instance from that point forward. They have a job for life, and you end up paying them £1,200 a day to come in and fix a few tweaks here and there. And anybody in the room that uses Salesforce is probably nodding, going, yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do, bastards. And sorry, Salesforce is awesome, but it's a big beast. And what you tend to get with these things is you tend to get good enough functionality. So they do everything quite well, but because they're not best in breed, because that's not what their exclusive focus is, you won't get anyone that is absolutely fantastic in it. If you want social media production and scheduling tools, use Hootsuite. They're brilliant at it. I wouldn't use Salesforce or something like that. The same logic applies to everything really with the best in breed stack. You can go out and you can choose the best tools for the job, because normally these are kind of quite low cost tools that you can sign up for monthly or even annual subscriptions, which is still damn slightly shorter than 3-year subscriptions. You can have a far more flexible stack that allows you to pick and mix what tools you want to be using at any one time. You can switch them in, you can switch them out. And it's proving a lot more popular. Best of breed is more popular with marketers, it's more popular with salespeople. This is a Gartner report from probably a couple of years back, 2019, I think it was. Yeah, 2019. That says 57% of sales and marketing teams prefer best of breed. That's not how it used to be. 5 years ago, it was all very much single stack solutions. And then the likes of Zapier came in and really changed the marketplace so that now you have a lot more flexibility. Cool. So enough with the chit chat from me because I go on a little bit too much. Let's crack on with the demonstration of how easy and efficient these things are to set up, which is inevitably the point where things are going to go wrong again. Okay, so what we're going to try and do, I'm going to show you how we can take an email that comes into my inbox, into Gmail, how we can label that in Gmail as a prospect, how by labeling that as an individual as a prospect, we are going to enter them into a lead scoring journey. We're going to score them. We're going to enter them into a very short automated sequence. We're literally just going to send them one email on this occasion because it's a demo, so it's not particularly beneficial to send out a really long one. From that email, they're going to go click on a link to a landing page, which will carry the personalization across from Gmail into that landing page, which is quite cool. And upon clicking that link and going to that landing page, we are then going to fire a Slack alert over here, which is on my right-hand side of the screen. You can see I've even got Slack set up, good to go. So that's what we're going to try and do. There are lots of moving parts here, so I've had to do a little bit. Here's one I did earlier. Also, to set expectations, I only have 30 minutes for this presentation. We've probably gone for about 25 or 20 of them already. I'm not building a complete sales stack. I apologize. There's 14 tools. I don't have time to do that in the course of the demo, but I'm just going to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this to show you how easy it is to set up using Zapier. So what is in my toolbox? Well, I've got my Zapier account up and running. Now, Zapier, you can start it up and running for free. It is very cheap to run, and you have very efficient ways of running Zaps if you use things like filters. So that brings down the costs. If you don't understand what filters are, I'll show you a little bit now, but actually you really need to know is go to Kulea.ma/blog and have a look at our Zapier tips. We've got some articles in there that will help you. All right, so I am going to go and I'm going to set up a Zap for the first part. I've also, by the way, created the second part of this journey already, which is an update in Kulea. I will check something and then I will push across to Slack. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Okay, create a Zap. Exciting. Now Zapier isn't the fastest of beasts, and that's because it's actually doing stuff in the background when I'm clicking things here. It's going back to a server, it's building things for me. So you cut it a bit of slack. Yeah, see what I did there? Cut some slack. Okay, so the trigger. Well, let's name this. We're going to name this part 1. Okay, and this is being triggered in Gmail. Beautiful. Okay, so The way Zapier works and the way most of these no-code, low-code tools work, and in fact, the way life works in general, is it uses conditional logic. So conditional logic, shortest possible statement is if this, then that. So if something happens, do this, do that. Brilliant. Okay. So we need, the if is normally called a trigger. So we have a trigger here, and we're going to create a trigger. And there's loads of triggers available for Gmail. We're going to use this one, new labeled email. Lovely. Continue that. Now I need to make sure it's connected to the right account. So we've got two accounts. This one, Esther, who is our Zapier whiz, and me, who is not, but I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. Okay, so we need to look for labels. So I've already got a labels set up in my inbox. There's all the obvious ones: chat, sent, inbox, important, trash, draft, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know how to set labels, just Google it. It's really quick and easy. Where is it? And I want prospect. There we go. So that's my prospect label that I set up previously. Lovely. I have now set up a integration. Now I'm going to test this. So I'm going to send across. I'm going to introduce you now to someone special, very close to our hearts. This is Peter the Prospect. So Peter Prospect works for Agency Inc. And he is our ideal prospect. Now let me send myself an email. So I want to have some test data in there. Hi there, Andrew. Tell me more. Spell, typing under pressure. There we go. Okay, let's Peter the Prospect. Let's send that one out, shall we? So Peter has now sent an email. We'll get him out of there. We will go have a look, make sure that email has arrived. Oh, cheapest drone in the world. Don't know what that's about. I'm actually quite curious about that. I'm going to come back to that later. Okay, so we're only pulling this data if Peter has in fact been tagged. So I'm going to go in, labeled, and I'm going to label Peter as a prospect. Peter the Prospect is now labeled prospect in my Gmail. Lovely. Okay, so what we should now be able to do is test that in Zapier to see if it works. Fingers crossed it does. Give it a few seconds. There we go. Okay, so we've got some information come back. Coming from Peter the Prospect. Look at that. So it's passed our filter, it's passed our label. We are going to continue. Okay, brilliant. Now, you could just send Peter straight across into your marketing automation platform now, in our case, Kulea. But I'm actually going to intervene because I mentioned that Zapier can do some quite clever stuff. This right-hand column, paths, filters, formats, and delays, that's where all that clever stuff sits. If you want to transform your data, if you want to fiddle with it, if you want to, there's so many things you can do, so many utilities. I'm going to format. I'm going to format that data, and I'm going to choose text. So got different ones there. I'm going to choose a text. Continue. And what I want to do is, because Gmail, a bit annoyingly, gives name, but it doesn't give full name and surname. So Peter's name is Peter Prospect, but I don't want to send an email saying, hi, Peter Prospect, or dear Peter Prospect. I want to say, hi, Peter. So I need to separate full name and surname. To do that, I'm going to use the text splitter. So as you can see, there's loads and loads of things on here. I can capitalize, I can convert to HTML, I can all sorts of clever stuff, extract patterns, extract phone numbers, extract URLs. I can do anything really, anything text-based anyway. I'm going to split text, a nice easy one here. One that you will use quite a lot actually, because Pipedrive, for example, uses name rather than forename, surname, which is, I love Pipedrive, it's an amazing CRM, but that's annoying. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put in an input. Now the input is going to come from Gmail. Oh, and it's from name. There you go. From name, Peter Prospect. What do I want to separate? Well, I want to separate using the space. So I'm just going to use the default here. Just advice on how you can do it. Click that link, it'll show you all sorts of different separators. Okay, and do I want the first or second? Well, I actually want the first space in there as the separator, not the second. If I wanted the surname, I'll choose the second separator. And you can actually have multiples of it, so you can have multiple versions of this utility in place. And what that'll do is then give you multiple options, so you can maybe take forename and put that in forename, surname, put that in surname, all within the same Zap. There we go. Okay, let's continue. And that will be tested. There we go. We've split input Peter Prospect into segment index first. Let's test and review. There we go. And my output is Peter. Perfect. It's worked. All right. So let's close that. And now we're going to add that final step. So all of this so far, I've not touched a line of code. I've not done anything particularly clever. All I've done is drag and drop, just select things, add them, and configure. So I'm now going to put in Kulea. There we go. Latest version of Kulea, because I've got access to quite a few. Choose the event. I'm going to create a new contact. It's create or update contact. Choose an account. I've got loads of accounts, but I'm going to be using Kulea.ma 2. Oh, come on, I'll show you that's this account up here on the top. Okay, so what I now need to do is I need to tell Zapier where to put that data in Kulea. So it's called mapping. So I'm going to map that data across. And two of the maps are going to be dynamic, and then one of the maps is going to be hard-coded. So email, I'm going to take the email from new labeled email in Gmail, and I'm going to not use plain with body text, the date or the from name. I'm going to click, and I want a from email. That's all there is. I'm just going to dynamically populate all emails that come from Gmail with the email address in the from field. For name, I'm not going to take that from the email because we've already seen that it's not right. I'm going to take that from that text utility that I used just now. The from name in this case is Peter. There we go. Surname, I'm not going to do surname for this demonstration, but you could do. You could also take company name, which would be quite cool. So you could use the @ symbol in the email address as the separator. You could take anything that comes after the @ You could capitalize the first word, so you could essentially take out the company domain. And let's go. I want to add this to status. So let's find status at the bottom. I've got loads and loads of fields in Kulea, way too many. And I'm going to put this as status as prospect. Again, if I could type correctly. And that's the hard-coded bit. Okay. There we go. Continue. Lovely. Now, I'm going to skip the test because it'll make it a bit more exciting when I do it. Oh, the anticipation. There we go. And I'm going to turn that Zap on. Cool. Sorry, wife at the door. Okay. So Zapier takes a little bit of time to turn on a Zap. As you can see, it seems to be taking forever. Boom, and that Zap is on. Okay, so I'm now going to take you through. Well, actually, let me take you. So, what we're going to do, so when Kulea gets that data is going to be entered into a Kulea journey. So, if you thought that the Zapier integration was easy, this is even easier. So, this is Kulea's drag and drop journey builder. Let me just expand it out so it's wait for a sec. So what we've got here, we've got if a new record is created by Zapier or updated by Zapier, check to see if their CRM status equals prospect. It should be. I've just hard coded it, so it will be. Give them 5 points. Lead score, great. Lead scoring is important. Send them this email. Brilliant. I'll show you the email in a second. And then wait for them to come to this landing page. Yeah. And wait forever for them to come to that landing page. When they do come to that landing page, update their status to engaged prospect, and then loop. Don't worry about that. That's just for my purposes. Okay. So in terms of a landing page, we're going to send them to. We are going to direct them to our Kulea demo. You see over here, this is what it looks like. So thanks for popping by. And at this point, Kulea doesn't know who I am because I've not clicked on a link in an email, but that's going to come together as well in this demonstration. Okay, and then emails. We've got an email. Looks quite pretty. HTML. Kulea branded email. And that's the one we're going to send out. Okay, so let's move that back over here. And then final piece of the puzzle. So what we're going to do, we're going to be updating, get back, the Kulea record. We've also got another Zap running here that will be monitoring Kulea. So the moment that anybody is updated in Kulea to engaged prospect, as we just saw that happens in the journey, so they come through to the landing page, they're updated to engaged prospect. That then triggers them onto this journey. So you've got here a contact updated. We then check to see if they are engaged prospect. If they are, we are going to create a Slack. When he said that, we're going to create a Slack alert in my Slack channel over here. Okay, so let's make the magic happen. We've done it. Now, Kulea pre-prospect is already tagged and bagged, and journey, let's just see, is live. Okay, fingers crossed, touch wood, this all works seamlessly. I'm going to go into Zapier. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run that Zap. Now, Zapier normally runs every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or every half an hour, depending on what subscription you're on. Nobody really needs real time. That's a bit of a fallacy. You don't need real time. You don't need to sending this email the second you mark them as, label them as a prospect. So I'm going to run this one. I'm going to force it through rather than waiting for it to run naturally. Manually running part one, looking for new labeled emails. We couldn't find any new labeled emails because it was already labeled, but that's fine. Should nonetheless still be updated in Kulea. So let's go into our journey. Oh, I'm going to have to do it again. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to label it again. So let me send that email one more time with a new label. Andrew at one more time. Hello again. Can't type. Great thing about automation is it all works in real time. The challenge is it all works in real time. So I've got to go back and redo these journeys. Okay. Let's have a look. There we go. Hello again, Peter. Let's try this a second time. Let's label you again. Poor Peter. He's constantly being labeled. Okay, let's run Zapier one more time on this one. So part one. Let's run that Zap again. There we go. That's gone through this time. Formatted. Contact new successful in Kulea. So what we've done there is Zapier has gone and pulled that new information from Gmail. It's gone, yeah, that fits the criteria I'm looking for. It's pushed it over to our marketing automation platform, which has now picked up the baton and is running with it. Because if I go into Kulea, I will now see that my winning together lead scoring journey has got somebody in it. Unsurprisingly, that person has been given a lead score. That person has been sent our email. Let's have a look. There you go, Peter the prospect. We'll look at our notes for Peter. His record was just updated. Lovely. And his CRM data is telling us he is a prospect. Okay. So, sorry. I'm going to now go and have a look at Peter's inbox. So this is the inbox we sent just now. Kulea has responded to Peter being labelled by sending Peter out that email we talked about, which is fantastic. So good morning, Peter. Well, I set this up to go out this morning, but now we're recording it. There we go. So it's recognised Peter. It's sent him a personalised email, and it's inviting Peter to book that free demo, which is our landing page. So let's see if we can make that final bit of magic happen. Let's see if we can put that data back into Zapier and then into Slack. So for this, I'm going to move me over to this corner. Let's go through to our landing page. And lovely. So that's interesting. So straight away, what we're seeing is that data that we pulled out of Gmail automatically appearing not only in the email, but also in the landing page. There you go. Market Agency Inc. Understand Agency Inc. So we're enriching that data because we've already got some information about Peter in the Kulea database. So we can see if we want Peter to fill out this form, all you need to do to fill out this demo or subscribe to this demo is click and get started. It's that easy. But what happens if Peter doesn't fill out that form? Because we want to know he's come to the page and our sales team needs to know in real time. Well, again, I'm going to rely on the magic of Zapier impatience. So I don't want to wait 15 minutes. So I'm going to run this up now. Let's see what happens. Manually running, looking for new contacts. Brilliant. Come on, Zapier, pull your magic. Have there been any updates? We know there has. There we go. And look at that. Wasn't that satisfying? Oh, the anticipation. Slack channel message successfully completed, and Zapier has now looked at my updated contact and gone, hey, Peter just visited the demo landing page. Better make contact with him. Quick, smart, Andrew, or you might lose an opportunity. You can put a nice little opportunity ahead image in my Kulea BD channel to let me know that I need to be making contact with Peter ASAP. And that is the magic of automation. Zapier is acting as the glue between your different systems. I've shown you a very simple integration there. I'll hold my hands up. It is a simple integration. You can get a lot more complex with Zapier. If we're doing a full-on CRM, Pipedrive, HubSpot CRM integration, it does get a lot more complicated than that, but it doesn't need to be. That's the thing. You can keep things really simple. And in fact, if we go click on over here, I've got some nice examples for you. So for example, how could you use Zapier and automation in your day-to-day? Well, you've got a new post on your blog. Great. You can use Zapier to automate from XML, RSS, sorry, to create a new page post on Facebook or a new tweet or a new Instagram post or anything really. You can do that automatically. Save yourself having to go out into all those different social media tools. Save yourself having to do it through Hootsuite. If you're using WordPress, you can have a form submission from Gravity Forms, which can send up a channel alert in Slack for you. And it can then update your CRM data and put that person onto an automated sequence, for example. Kind of what we did just then. But, if a new contact is created, however it's created in your marketing automation platform, you can then push that contact across to Google AdWords, or Google Ads as it's now called. You could set up a custom audience in Facebook. You could add someone to a custom audience. You could remove them from a custom audience. You could expand your brand reach and your impact for each contact in your database by reinforcing that brand message. And you wouldn't have to lift a finger. It would all be running behind the scenes for you. If you're the BD that's going out and doing the prospecting, it's a pain in the ass copying and pasting, taking contact lists, all sorts of things. You could set up automations so that a new lead automatically goes into your CRM or into your marketing automation platform. You could set up Slack box alerts and triggers to follow up with those leads. You can do anything. The sky is the limit. It really is, guys. There's so much you can be doing out there with these tools. It's just having creativity and having that inspiration and a little bit of knowledge to make the most of them. Okay, so I've shown you how to do it. You don't need us. However, if you do need us, we're here to help. We, as a company, Kulea, we look after loads of client stacks. We integrate, we automate, we personalize. We do the heavy lifting for you. If you are keen to learn more, Zapier, or about conditional logic, or about any of the things I've talked about today, reach out to us at support@Kulea.ma, or go have a look at our blog. We've got loads of articles on these things, top tips for Zapier, best use cases for integration, that sort of stuff. Go and have a look. Kulea.ma/blog. But we're always here to help. And thank you very much for listening. It's really appreciated. Cool. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.